And welcome everyone to an NABC chat. I'm Andy Katz, pleased to be joined by John Krikorian from Christopher Newport. D3 Power, winning the title in Fort Wayne, Indiana last season. Again, looking to win this thing again. John, let's first deal with the euphoria of what happened last year. And in this era, when there's a lot of moving pieces, maybe not as much at D3, but what are the chances that you can keep that momentum going?
Yeah, it was euphoric. I mean, you never expect, unless you've done it before, I guess, what comes after you win the thing. And so we went to the White House. We spent hours at the governor's mansion. We like had parades and all these things. So it was really wild. But then at some point you got to move on to what's in front of you this season. And we were very fortunate to return a lot of really good players and bring in some good freshmen. But you look at the landscape and the transfer portal. I mean, it helped us the last few years, and you see it in Division III. A lot of really good players from Division I and II are finishing their careers at Division III. And there's some teams that have really loaded up in the offseason. Our message to the team is we can't be the same group that we were last year. We're going to have to be marketably better.
So let me peel that back, because I don't think that's known as much, that people are going down, because we've obviously seen people go up. And maybe the most famous example, obviously, is Duncan Robinson, from Williams to Michigan to the NBA's Miami Heat. Sure. And I know that's a bit of an anomaly, but in what way is it going the other direction in this era?
It's huge. Well, two reasons is the COVID year. So there's a lot of guys, for instance, in the Ivy League or some others that have graduated from their schools and are finishing a graduate year at Division III. And so you have a whole slew of those kids in our environment now. And then you just have kids at scholarship level who maybe weren't playing a lot, who are really good players. Many that we recruited out of high school, they ultimately took a scholarship, but realized after a year or two or three, I'm not really playing. I can get a great experience at this Division III school, and they end up at our level, and those guys are usually pretty good.
And so how do you, I mean, it's got to be in putting together a roster. And obviously you said you're fortunate that the core of your group returned, but how do you assess that landscape when you're looking, okay, who's transferring within D3? Who's D2 down? Who's D1 down? What are my competitors doing? I mean, because at the D3 level, you've got much more of a swath that you've got to look for, and also who academically can handle the rigors of what we're doing, whether or not we have money, don't have money, how we can sort of, maneuver everything, financial aid. How do you manage all that?
Yeah, roster management is as big a job as we have. And for us, finding the right fit for our school and our program, and you're trying to navigate that. We're lucky because our school is very attractive. We have very good academics. We're a state school. We have beautiful facilities, 5,000 students in a great area. So we don't have a lot of kids leaving. So we're able to kind of reap the benefits of maybe some kids that want to come, but we haven't really had to deal with our best players wanting to leave. So, we know that, so we can manage accordingly, but, every school is different. And, like for the instance, this year, our roster is a little greater than I would like it to be. We have 20 guys because I had 3 guys after the season that decided they were going to come back for their 5th year, which I didn't expect. So we recruited freshmen, but now we don't have the roster caps at Division I, like 13 full rides. So, a lot of D3 rosters tend to be a little bigger. So you take a few more guys and now that style of play comes in, and we're going to, get up and down a little more to get some more guys in the game because we have talent up and down the roster. So, it's definitely something we think about constantly.
One thing from a coaching perspective, John, I'm curious. Obviously, there's more money in D1. There's more exposure, more television. But what can you say about, at its core, you just won a national championship. When most people get into coaching, they do it for the right reasons. All of us, whatever profession, we're not necessarily getting in for the most part for the money, but then it happens, or it can happen. what is the beauty of coaching at this level, at the high level of D3, that you have thoroughly enjoyed and have felt fulfilled by?
Yeah, and that's an easy question. I know when I walk in the gym every day, the guys in front of me are there because they want to be there. That period, because they love it and they want to be there. There's no scholarship that I'm hanging over their head. They don't owe me anything. I don't dominate or own their time. Now they're committed. We practice and run our program as intense as the Division I schools I was at. I think we can compete with Division I's, and we do that in scrimmages and exhibitions. But at the end of the day, they're there because they love it. At Division III, I mean, you're paying and taking out loans to get an education at that school, not to play basketball necessarily. And if you're not having a good experience, if you don't like it, you're going to walk away. There's nothing holding you on that team other than your love for the game. And so at this level, it's rewarding and fun to be in a gym with guys that are there because they love it. They love being in a gym. They love being around their brothers, and you're competing against a school where they're doing the same. And it's refreshing in the world of college basketball at times. You always look and say, could I do it at that level? And but I tell you, it's every day you wake up and you go, I love where I'm at.
Well, last thing, John, I mean, now that you got this core group back, it's almost impossible to say, okay, we can do things again. As you said, nothing always is the same. So to get to at least that level, to play for a potential championship, which is a marathon away, what has to go right for this group?
We got to come together. I mean, we have these fifth-year guys, and I have a bunch of 18-year-old freshmen, and there's a pretty big gap there, and they're all going to play. And so I think we have the talent. I think we, have the toughness. It's a matter of, can we get the synergy with the group and learn from our mistakes by the time we get to the end of the season. But we hang our hat on our defense. It carried us last year in the tournament. And if we can stay healthy and have our key defenders, shot blockers, make it through the season and be there at the end, I think we'll be competitive and see if we can make a run.
Appreciate your time, John. We look forward to seeing what happens this season.
Thanks, Andy.